Rob Veno here of Rob Veno Sports. Hey, tonight we're going to take a look at what it takes to defeat that pesky 11 to 10 juice involved in sports gambling. Guys that are seasoned veterans know exactly what to do. Everybody handles it a little bit differently, but for those that are just setting out or venturing out into sports gambling, the 11 to 10 can cause a little bit of trouble if you don't have some sort of regimen. Like I said earlier, everybody's is different. I'm going to set out 5 guidelines here, really basic stuff. We're not going to get too in-depth with this, but there are certain guidelines that you probably should follow. Of course, when I talk about the 11 to 10 VIG, that simply means that you have to put up $11 for every 10 that you'd like to win on a sports bet. My best advice for starters is put yourself in the best position to win. There's a lot of good ways to do that. That advice was given to me in the early 90s when I first moved to Las Vegas. I don't think there's ever been any truer words that I've heard. It means do the work. Obviously, you have to be on top of whatever sport it is that you're betting. And secondly, it means shop around. You have to get the best price. You can't just be of the opinion that half point here or there doesn't matter. Believe me, they matter. Half a points are huge. Guys shop all over the place to get that half point edge. During baseball season, a lot of shops give reduced juice. You can get $1.08 instead of laying $1.10 on games. So you'd like to go that route. Anything you can do to put the situation in your favor, you need to do. It starts first and foremost with the work and being sound in that aspect, and then making sure that you're taking advantage of all the half points, all the reduced VIG, anything you can find to lay a little less to gain a half point advantage. It's well worth it. We can go very well in depth with other things, other ways, including money line plays to get you to put yourself in a better position as well. But that'll be for another time. We'll get a little more in depth. Right now, we just want to go over basic stuff. So, once again, rule 1, put yourself in the best position to win. A, do the work. Be on top of your subject matter, whatever sport it is you're betting. B, shop around for the best line available. And C, in baseball season especially, hey, play at houses where they have reduced vigorish. It does help. Every time you can save a little bit, it helps. It adds up in the end. Next off, you've probably heard this a million times before, but money management is crucial, a crucial aspect to being successful at this. I've been working with the crew at Sports Memo for a lot of years now, and Sports Memo has a 1 unit, 1.5 unit, 2 unit system that we use for client recommendations, and I think you can apply it right to your own personal gambling. It's simple, it's real easy to follow. Whatever your standard wager is, whether it be $10, $50, $100, $10,000, a 1 unit play is simply the amount that you would bet on a game minimum. If you have a play that you like a little stronger, you move it up to 1.5 times that. So if you're a $10 bettor, now you're betting 15 on that game because you like it a little better. And then your best bet plays, what we at Sports Memo call 20 stars. You bet double. $10 bettor becomes a $20 bettor, $50 bettor becomes a $100 bettor, $500 bet becomes a $1,000 bet, so on and so forth. But if you could stick to those guidelines, 1, 1.5, and 2, and not go absolutely crazy with everything being a best bet, especially if you're behind for the week, you don't want to get into chase mode and everything is a 2 unit play. You can get yourself into an even bigger hole. But I think if you stick to 1, 1.5, and 2, it's such a simple version of money management. I found it to be very, very successful, both in client recommendations and personal wagering. I think that's as good a system as there is out there. You can vary it if you'd like, but you really have to stick and be disciplined sticking to a 1.5, 2 type system. That's what I would recommend, at least, something on that level. There's no such play as a 100 times what you would normally bet, or as you see often in ads, 100-star, 50-star. You don't wake up a $10 player and suddenly by the time post comes you're a $500 player because you like the game that much. It's just not the way it works. If you want to last, 1.5, 2. If you want to take a huge risk and be out of the park within 3 hours of starting to watch your game, then you'll go for those other kind of crazy whacked out systems. Another thing that I like a lot, personally, I've never had anybody say this to me, but you'll find handicappers, professional bettors that are good, extremely good at certain sports or at certain aspects of a sport. Find out what you do best. Personally, about the last 7-8 years, I've focused mainly on totals. And in my case, I tend to see games, points on the card, I tend to see overs a little clearer than unders. So I try to go up and down the card and see which games pop out as over the total plays. Some guys are great at handicapping underdogs. They can look at a card and underdogs jump off the sheet. Some guys are great sport-wise college basketball bettors. Some are outstanding Major League Baseball bettors. I think as a group, most handicappers, most professional bettors bet all sports, but they know what they're good at, and they tend to go heavier in those spots, those situations that they're better at. Like I say, for myself, I tend to see totals a little better where basketball and football are concerned. In baseball, I prefer to play the run line, and I see that a little bit clearer. So everybody's got their own niche. If you stick to your own niche, you can be real successful at this. Find what you do best. Go ahead and focus there. And if you do that, you find that if you're very good at playing NFL football, you'll find that a successful NFL season can carry you to a winning year. So that's what I mean by that. Find what you do best. Go ahead, and you don't have to necessarily isolate and only play that sport and not play anything else. But what I'm saying is find out what you do best, focus in, and play those games a little bit more than you would play other games. Unders, overs, favorites, dogs, whatever it is you like. If you see teasers better, everybody's got their own niche. People don't generally recommend, and I wouldn't recommend that you become a parlay or a teaser player. But hey, if it's what you see, this is not an exact science. Very, very inexact here. There's no rule book that leads you to constant winnings year in and year out. You talk to 100 successful people in this industry, and you'll get 100 different explanations on how they got there. So once again, find out what you're good at and go ahead and focus on that. And last but not least, another thing I learned, don't bet into myths. There are a lot of things out there that are represented as do's and don'ts in the betting business. And don't fall for mythical stuff. I think the biggest thing, and the one that probably irks me the most, is when, and this obviously was created by a sports advisory service years ago, and it became almost like gospel throughout sports advisory service industries, and it became to bettors just entering the scene as something that they should do, and they believed it firmly, and that is bet underdogs, because three things can happen, and if you're on a favorite, two of them are bad and only one is good. So you're in a better position if you bet an underdog. And the simple claim on that is an underdog can win the game, an underdog can cover the point spread, and a favorite has to cover the point spread. But it's complete and total nonsense when you break it down. And bets where point spreads are involved are 50-50 shots. Unless you're playing every game that you're playing on the money line and plus the points, then this 2 out of 3 nonsense is just that complete nonsense made up as a selling point to try and get followers to come in and either subscribe or join up to sports advisory services. Don't fall for it. There's no such thing as underdogs are better because you have 2 out of 3 ways to win. When you go to the window with a ticket on Auburn +7 that's just covered a game, believe me, the cashier doesn't tell you, oh great, you just won 2 ways. They won outright and they covered the spread. Here's some extra money. Doesn't happen. You either cover the point spread or you don't cover the point spread. Once again, if you've played Auburn money line and plus points, and you're doing that with every single underdog you bet, then 2 out of 3 is true in that instance. But otherwise, mythical. There's a lot of myths out there. You learn along the way, but don't fall for myths while you're making plays. Stick to your guns. Do what you do best. Put yourself in the best position to win. Use money management. It takes 52.38% to defeat 11 to 10 vigorish if you're making every single play on an 11 to 10 basis. On a 1.5, 2 unit system, you hit a couple of double plays in there, a couple of 1.5 plays, and you can get a little further ahead of the game. But on the simple 11 to 10, it takes 52.38. It's doable. Guys out there do it each and every year, but you do have to follow a certain set of guidelines. And once again, my recommendations would be put yourself in the best position to win, do the work, find the best line. In baseball season, get the best VIGs on games. Secondly, I would certainly do what you're best at. Figure out what comes to you naturally. Play that way. Money management system has to be in tow. Like I say, I recommend 1, 1.5, 2, but you can modify that to however you like. And don't fall for any mythical stuff out there. You'll find once you get into betting that a lot of the stuff that you hear is just untrue. Unless a person is betting every game on the entire card every single night, a lot of the stuff you hear is pure garbage. So stick to those rules. Like I say, we can get deeper into this along the way here at Rob Veno Sports as we progress. But for now, those are 5 simple rules. If you're just starting out gambling and you have yourself a set bankroll, go ahead and apply what I've just told you to that bankroll. Find yourself some success. Hey, we're going to go ahead and go over the college basketball card for tomorrow, so be sure to stay tuned in. We're here on Friday night just watching the NBA Finals roll in here, but Saturday, tomorrow, February the 6th, just a huge card. I'm going to have an audio up tomorrow morning. It'll be available either later tonight or tomorrow morning, where we'll go through what my power ratings suggested on the games and what the point spreads have moved to, if there's been any movement in line and total. So be sure to stay tuned to us. Once again, this is Rob Veno of Rob Veno Sports saying thanks a lot for tuning in, and good luck with all your bets.